You have checked every single box they handed you. You secured the stable job, followed the rules, and carefully curated a life that looks perfectly acceptable from the outside. But the result of all that compliance is a routine where you operate like a highly functional zombie. You simply wake up, obey, and repeat, moving through your own life as if you are just visiting. And now, despite doing everything right, you are experiencing a suffocating emptiness. There is a persistent, low-grade anxiety humming in the background, and a chronic fatigue that sleep does not fix. The contract you signed with society is broken. You traded your personal freedom for a sense of stability, and the payoff is the distinct sensation that you are slowly dying while completely awake. When you admit you feel this way, the world is quick to offer a diagnosis. It tells you that your distress is a personal failure, a glitch in your brain, or a psychological defect that needs to be corrected. The system profits when you think you are broken. It offers you a steady drip of digital distractions, hoping you will numb the discomfort and quietly return to being a productive, predictable cog. Your suffering functions as a sophisticated signaling system, a clear warning that the artificial character you've been playing has reached its structural limit. This crisis acts as a catalyst for those who are entirely tired of pretending, stripping away the performance and forcing you to confront your own truth. Over a century ago, the depth psychologist Carl Jung identified exactly what you are feeling. He warned that the greatest threat to the human mind in the modern world isn't misery or madness, but conformity. He called it massification, a systematic process designed to compress a distinctly unique human into a replaceable statistical unit. To survive, you adapted. You buried your genuine self and constructed a rigid, socially acceptable persona just to stay safe. Jung observed the toll this takes, noting that the unlived life is a literal disease from which one can die. When you look closely at the normal life you've been working so hard to maintain, you realize it is essentially a very well-decorated disguise for psychic death. Because of this, your chronic apathy and sudden bursts of anxiety are actually working exactly as intended. They are vital signs deliberately produced by your own psyche to get your attention. Jung described this exact phenomenon as the call to individuation. It happens the exact moment your inner self flat out refuses to continue participating in the charade of pleasing everyone else. Your emotional collapse has a structural purpose. The false persona you built must be completely dismantled so your authentic self has room to exist. When your conscious mind ignores these internal warnings, your unconscious takes the wheel. It uses a mechanism called synchronicity, pulling specific symbols, encounters, and messages into your orbit to force you to listen. At the precise moment your conscious resistance fails, your psyche begins to magnetize exactly what it needs to evolve. Finding these specific words right now is the inevitable result of that inner search. Now that you are actually paying attention, the required next step is going to be uncomfortable. You have to abandon the narrative that kept you safe and walk directly into the unknown. Jung visualized this resistance as confronting the inner dragon. This dragon is your own cowardly ego, representing all the deeply ingrained fears and doubts screaming at you to retreat to safety. It will fiercely negotiate with you. It will tell you that making a move means you will lose everything you've built, and that you will irreversibly disappoint everyone you know. That paralyzing fear is actually a sign to move forward, signaling that you are finally moving towards something real. To cross that threshold, you have to accept a harsh, liberating truth. There is no guru, no perfectly timed apology, and no external savior coming to pull you out of the hole you are sitting in. The machinery of society thrives on your hesitation. It relies on your passivity, hoping you will wait endlessly for a clear sign or someone else's permission to reclaim your life. You do not need permission. You don't need a committee's approval to leave a draining job, end a toxic relationship, or start completely over from scratch. You only need to take radical responsibility for your own trajectory. Forget the illusion of ever feeling fully ready to make this leap. No one ever is. You just need to be profoundly tired of pretending and brave enough to admit you can no longer stay where you are. It is time to step out of the cave of normality. Leave a physical declaration right now to bind this promise to yourself. Scroll into the comments and type, "I choose to cross." Naming it invokes it. Take the leap, because your actual life is just beginning.